Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. Now, it's a somber start today. The book today that I'm reviewing is called Ruin by John Gwynne, and yeah, that checks out. This book ruined me. I can't put it any simpler than that. So, why did this ruin me? It was brilliant. It's another step up. This series as a whole has been fantastic. It's easily one of my favourite series of all time now. All he's got to do is pull off the final book and that'll be the end of it. But it has been so good. I actually finished this a few days ago, and it's been a long time since I've read a book that I genuinely had to just stop and finish. The ending of this book, for those of you that have read it, you'll know where I'm coming from. It hurt. It hurt, the end of this book. It really, really did. It was fantastic. Just as a whole, this book did so many different things. We are on multiple viewpoints. We've got about 4 or 5 different stories going on, from each having multiple viewpoints within them, but all of them being coherent, knowing who each character is and being able to follow each story very, very simply. Again, John Gwynne has this brilliant way about writing where no chapter is superfluous. Every single one does something for the story, forwards on the plot, builds a character. There's never any time that you're like, oh, that's a lovely description of a house or a lovely description of this, that doesn't build to anything. Every single thing pushes the story forward in some way, even if you're not expecting it. There are times when you'll be deep in the throes of one story and you'll be left on a cliffhanger, and you have that part of you that is always burning to go back to that story, and you'll suddenly pick up with another character and you're like, why are we here now? And then within a page, 2 pages maybe, you're like, oh, I know why we're here, and it makes sense, and everything slots together. The pacing, once again, was just brilliant. There's so much story, so many threads coming together, all intertwining, and you can slowly see them sort of converging upon one another while still being separate in their own way and making sense for why things are happening. They're not just happening because, oh, we need to get everyone together. No. These things are happening because that needs to happen, and it all makes sense. But, this book hurt. That's all I'm going to keep coming back to. I've actually got my emotional support cat with me today because he's here to make me feel better. But, John Gwynne, some of the most epic scenes I've ever read. There was a duel in the first book that was amazing. It's been blown out of the water by this just beautiful, so well deserved, so well set up, amazing sequence. It's not even just the duel, it's the whole sequence of events that follows on, that links back to the first books, to the whole sort of theme of honour and courage and just being true to yourself, that just follows through this whole book, and it was just so beautifully carried off. There was something that was worrying me as I was going through this. I was like, and as with all of these sequel books, that minor spoilers for the other books, as I'm going to be mentioning characters' names, and obviously that will let you know that they potentially survived other books or so have you. But there was a worry for me that Corbin was being made to be he was just this perfect character. Nothing can go wrong. He's just going to be amazing. Don't get me wrong, he is a very good guy. But then I realised about 2/3, 3/4 of the way through this book, especially at this moment that happens, it's not that he's perfect. What I realised is that we're actually getting a lot less of his viewpoint in this book, and we're getting everyone else's viewpoint, and they are seeing him in that light. And that's what this story is. It's about like the birth of a legend, and I think that's what a lot of this book is it's seeing that legend sort of come to life, and it sort of peaks in this book, and it just it was such an amazing moment, and I felt so like warm and cozy and safe, and it was so uplifting and buoyant. Everything was so joyous, and my gosh, did he slap me down. It was the most brutal sort of wake up call of slapping down to earth. I've not experienced that in a book in a very, very long time. And the final 40 pages of this book are not for the faint of heart. Don't get me wrong, as with the other books, this is getting slowly darker and more intense and grittier, especially certain characters. Matt Gwynne has that dark, intense story, but a lot of the fight scenes can be quite brutal. But the last 40 pages of this book, we are not in the fun, coming of age, happy adventure story anymore. This is real, and you've sat with these characters for 2,000 pages now, and yeah, it hurts. It really hurts. I don't think I've seen a final line in a book be such of a knife twist. This is not for the faint of heart. I understand I'm being particularly vague about a lot in this book, but what I will say, the reason for that is there is a lot of twists and turns in this one. A lot of betrayal comes out. There's a lot of things happening that I don't want to touch upon, because if you haven't read the book before, I don't want to give anything away. And there's a lot of moments like that. There's a lot of character twist moments that you're like, that sort of cut deep and happen. And they're pulled off very, very well. Some characters that have such culminations, and we do get some closing of some stories in this, which is really, really nice. I like the fact that as we're going along this book, we're not having all of these open-ended questions happening, and we're not going to receive any of the answers until the final book. We are getting some stories tied together. Certain characters are having majority of their storylines tied up, which is always nice to have some resolution in each book. But there's still some questions there. And Veridis, I will say his name, has a lovely character development, something that we've been waiting for. Things are happening in this for him. Oh, that's very nice. And there's a massive reveal in this book, which I can't even look at the camera, let alone anyone else. I wasn't talking about this because it is a big reveal. I was not expecting it. And it was completely unexpected, and I did not see it coming, and that's something I love, and something I'm really loving about these books is that they feel so classic, and yet they can have these modern twists that take us away from those classic tropes and allow us to experience something new, but with that familiarity. I'm loving this series. I am chafing at the bit to get into Wrath. I'm very excited for it. I can't wait. I'm going to delve straight into it. And I'm looking forward to the combination. I'm scared. Genuinely, this book has scared me for that last book. But I think it's going to be brilliant. If you've been enjoying the books, please let me know. I want to know what your experiences are. What did you think about this book? Please be careful of spoilers down in the comments. But let me know what you think, because I need support. It's been brilliant. Let me know. Like, follow, please subscribe and follow along. It'd be lovely to have you here. But I will see you in the next one when we will be reviewing the final book, Wrath. I'll see you there. Bye.